Last night at Jake's downtown, Brandon Eugene Bird is held on 6 assault with a weapon charges, along with 2 counts of robbery. Court documents state Bird, who had been fired from his dishwashing job earlier in the day, entered the restaurant shortly before 6 p.m. last night and grabbed 2 steak knives. After a confrontation, he allegedly stabbed 2 employees, slashed a third on the arm, and cut the finger of a fourth before being tackled and arrested. We've learned tonight Bird was convicted of 2 felonies in Missoula in 2019, robbery and criminal mischief, and had only been in Billings since late September at the Alpha House Pre-Release Center. Bird is due in Yellowstone County District Court tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Tonight, Q2's Casey Conlon has more on a scary night for all involved.
Normally, this giant metal gate behind me wouldn't be down on a busy Thursday. Jake's Downtown instead would be welcoming a lunch and dinner rush. But not tonight. The restaurant closed after last night's incident sent 3 to the hospital and left dozens more with emotional scars over an event no one ever is prepared for.
How do you know what to do in a situation like that?
Whitney Hovey was in the bar area with a friend Wednesday night when first responders swarmed the south entrance of the building. Moments later, she saw why, as injured employees were being tended to on the sidewalk right outside the windows.
They just had kitchen towels wrapped around everything and people were bleeding, and we're like, what's going on?
It wasn't until Hovey noticed distraught employees back inside the restaurant that she started to put things together.
I saw 2 of the staff members. I don't know if they were hostesses or waitress, but they're kind of just holding each other and clearly upset.
But even after learning of former employee Brandon Bird's alleged actions, Hovey says employees made sure guests felt as safe as possible.
We never were in fear of our own safety because we didn't really even know what was happening. Sure. And I don't think anyone really knew, because it's not like anyone was running out of there screaming or anything. They kept it very calm and everyone just kind of exited.
That's what Hovey says she'll never forget, the staff's reaction to a bad situation that could have been much worse.
Getting home last night, I got to thinking about it and I text my friend, I'm like, if it would have been a gun, nobody could have stopped him, and then he could have went in and hurt a bunch of people. And thank God, I mean, I cannot say enough about the staff at Jake's. I don't know how they could have done a better job.
Jake's management has called a meeting for Thursday morning to decide when the restaurant will reopen. For now, they say they're just thankful that all 3 victims that were taken to the hospital are okay. Casey Conlon, MTN News.
Today, the Biden administration laid out new COVID-19 mandates that could impact thousands of Montana employers and their employees. All federal employees, federal contractors, and healthcare workers at facilities receiving Medicare or Medicaid have until January 4th to be fully vaccinated. People who work at businesses with more than 100 employees must also meet that deadline or test weekly and wear a mask at work. Now, businesses could face fines of nearly $14,000 per employee per violation. And federal workers and contractors who don't get the shot will face disciplinary action, which could eventually result in them losing their jobs. Well, swift and certain reaction from Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen today. The Montana AG announced an imminent lawsuit against the Biden administration. Knudsen says the non-medical portion would apply to more than 142,000 Montana workers, more than a third of the private sector workforce. Governor Greg Gianforte siding with Knudsen, saying the vaccine mandate is unlawful. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon also plans to file a lawsuit tomorrow. Now, here in Montana, the battle has even more levels to conquer. Montana's House Bill 702 says a vaccine mandate is illegal discrimination. The Yellowstone County Health Department is torn like other medical and non-medical employers. It has 30 days to come up with procedures to implement the new federal rules. But the county health department follows state law.
The choice that's being put in front of organizations today as these rules roll out is, do we choose to violate the state law and actively discriminate? And that's a hard thing to say, like, that we will choose to violate state law. Or do we choose to violate the federal rules, which in the case of Riverstone Health, as an example, would be about close to half of our annual revenue. if we lose federal funding through this. So which of those choices do you take?
Felton says this will obviously play out in the courts, and when it comes down to it, Riverstone Health, St. Vincent, and Billings Clinic will have little to do with the final decision.
More than 100 of Montana's citizen soldiers saying their goodbyes today as they prepare to deploy tomorrow.
By this time tomorrow, these soldiers will be a long ways from home.
Alpha Company, keep up the hard work, stay disciplined, stay positive, and help your battle buddy when they're down. You and your families will always be in my thoughts and prayers.
They are members of the 163rd Alpha Company of the Montana National Guard. The governor and first lady were among those on hand for the deployment ceremony.
On behalf of a grateful state and nation, to all of the soldiers standing here, thank you for stepping up and serving.
It's a great day. It's also a tough day, okay? This is the day we've been kind of thinking about for the past year. Will it really come? And all of a sudden it's here. And now it's the time to, after tonight, say goodbye.
It's a mission they've been preparing for a long time. First, they'll head to Texas, then overseas to West Asia, most likely Kuwait. For many, it's their first time deploying.
A little nervous, but I think that's a good thing. I'm really happy to be here, really proud of the unit and what we've accomplished so far, and I think it's been a great deployment.
My little brother here, his birthday's like 11 days after we leave, so it's that's hard, Gonna miss them all for sure. Birthdays, graduation, stuff like that.
What are you gonna miss the most?
Playing games. Yeah, we play a lot of games together, spend a lot of time, go on hikes, stuff like that. Yeah.
A sacrifice that not only are these soldiers making, but also their families.
These soldiers will be gone on deployment for 1 year. In Billings, I'm Russ Riesinger reporting for MTN News.
And Q2 meteorologist Matthew Hidalgo joining us now. A picture-perfect day, but the winds are definitely on the way.
Yes, the Billings area could see winds anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour, but that won't be until tomorrow afternoon. Let's take a look at those main headlines. So a partly cloudy night tonight, could see some breezy conditions. Tomorrow will be sunny, and again, the strongest winds by tomorrow afternoon. More clouds will move in through the evening, but those winds should calm down. Let me break it down a little bit more for you. West of Billings into the western foothills is going to see them a bit stronger, but by tomorrow evening, we should see those winds calm down. We'll have the full forecast details for you in just a little bit.
After the sudden death of Park City sophomore and football player Jed Hoffman, students, staff, and parents at the Columbus schools are coming together to show their support.
The bell rang just like it always does on Thursday morning, but for students at Columbus High School, this day was anything but usual.
Oh, it's devastating. It's tragic.
Instead of the traditional cougar green and white, students on this day wore red and black, Park City Panthers colors, in honor of Park City sophomore Jed Hoffman, who collapsed on the football field and died after a week in intensive care.
We did some open gyms together when we were younger, and you can just kind of see that he had a lot of potential ahead of him.
Caden Daniels knew Jed personally, but this was a district-wide show of support. Students from 12th grade all the way down to kindergarten decked out in red to support Jed's family.
This morning they were super excited to wear Panther colors and wear a hat and bring money to support his family.
With having, a child around his age, I just felt like as a community we should do something, and everyone jumped on board, and this happened.
The compassion was tangible at Columbus High School. Students knowing it happened to someone their age just miles away.
My brother and cousin played with him, so I kind of knew him when I was little, but it's just sad to think about.
Whenever you lose a young person, it's so tragic because, as the boys earlier mentioned, there's a lot of potential there, and to see that snuffed out just breaks your heart.
And Hoffman's death really hit home for students on the football team. Many of them played Jed on the field.
Both teams are kind of still in the playoffs, so a lot of us were kind of talking about playing this game for Jed and stuff like that, so we can just kind of play as a team and have something to play for.
A tight-knit community, doing their best to share love and kindness to a school that's normally an opponent, but on this day, they're on the same team.
It fills up your heart to see everyone come together as one and kind of just support each other.
In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
Still to come on your MTN 530 News here on Q2, we meet November's Montanan of the Month who put his fears aside to help others. Keep it here.
The MTN 530 News continues right after this.